I'm sure they'll come back. It's been a hefty period over Christmas, and but it's a boost for Arsenal that today.
After they had a terrific game down at Bournemouth last night, of course.
Yeah.
Really watchable game. I wonder, given that balance and without in any sense ignoring Aston Villa, because they're in it, whether it is now City's target to be within touch of Arsenal when the two meet in the middle of April. If they can make that the pivotal game somehow.
That's why they'll be annoyed. Yeah. I think if they could just hang on their shoulder, even 6 points, but if 4 points off them with 8 games to go, 7 games to go, that would be really, really interesting. Yeah. And Pep Guardiola can start to really turn the heat up. But they've got to be within touching distance of them. I said, I think, in my podcast the other day, that I think Arsenal will win the title. I think that City will go in front of them at times, maybe. They might catch them up. But I just think that Arsenal have got so much. I think yesterday at Bournemouth was the perfect example of that. You know, they go a goal down. Gabriel has that sort of pass across the box. But then the firepower that they bring off the bench, Jesus, Saka and Trossard, I think they brought off the bench, didn't they, in the second half. That's going to do real damage. When you can bring players on of that quality, replacing players that are already on the pitch of quality, and you're going at sort of Bournemouth's defence with, that are tiring and fatiguing as the game goes on, you're going to win a lot of matches. The amount of times that great teams win with their substitutes and their sort of difference makers off the bench is so important, and Arsenal have got that. They really have. I mean, Havertz is back as well.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, Gary, you mentioned the 3 subs, so that's 6 forward players who played for Arsenal yesterday. Eze didn't get on, and Havertz wasn't even in the playing party.
Yeah.
I mean, that is formidable strength, isn't it?
It is, and that's what they're going to have going down the home straight. They're going to have options, and what Arsenal are going to be able to do, I mean, City can do it as well. You think when Doku comes on the pitch today, you think that he's got that sort of ability to do things. But what Arsenal are going to be able to do is be 1-1, 1-0 down, and be able to throw on 3 or 4 players that are just going to completely transform the game and the momentum of a match. And they're well set up, and they're definitely better defensively than Manchester City. I look at that City back 4 at the end. That would concern me. That's not going to win a title. So Gvardiol and Diaz, maybe you could get there, but I'm not sure that 4 at the end are going to get anywhere near a title. They're going to concede chances and goals, and you're going to be able to get at them. So that's a big problem. If Diaz and sort of Gvardiol are out for 4 weeks now, what does that do to City? So, yeah, Arsenal look like they've really invested well behind that sort of top back 4 that they've got. Timber, Calafiore, Gabriel and Saliba. You've now got Hincapié, you've got Lewis Skelly, you've got Ben White, and the missed one, there's Mosquera. So you've got basically 2 back 4s. I think the second back 4 of Arsenal is almost as good as the first back 4 of City. That's how good that second back 4 is. So that's a real strong point. It's difficult to see how Arsenal can't really do it from here with the power that they've got and the strength and the sort of reinforcements.
On Aston Villa, who we have to mention, they're level on points with Manchester City. And I'm hearing every time a pundits ask, are Aston Villa in the title race? And the answer generally is kind of no. And I sense actually the Villa fans quite like that. They're happy with that. They understand where they're at. But you look at the league table and you're entitled to have an argument about that.
Yeah, but it's a good no. It's a no with a smile for Villa fans because, look, the reason they're up there is, well, they're a good team, but their manager. I genuinely believe their manager is of a different level than the other managers that sort of have got a similar squad of players to him. I think he's a difference maker in respect of an extra sort of 6, 7, 8, 10 points from the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham. I genuinely think that this manager is sensational. He's the second best manager in the league behind Pep Guardiola, and that's why Villa, with a squad that, if you looked across it, it's not sensational, it's not amazing, it's not sort of groundbreaking in any sense, it's solid. But you've got a guy who knows how to get the maximum out of them in terms of individually, but more importantly, collectively, the way in which they play. They've got a definite style. They all know what they're going to do. They know where their next pass is. I watch so many teams where basically there are a lot of what I call single passes. You watch sort of Villa, you see combinations and sort of they can play it without looking. They know someone's going to be there, and that's the ability of their coach to be able to do what he does. So for me, Villa are going to finish in the top 4 because of their ability of their manager and the ability of their coach and the solidity of their team formation to repeat patterns that they do. And they're doing brilliantly well, but they're not going to win the title. They're well away from Arsenal. They're well away from Manchester City. They might not even finish 3rd, but they definitely will finish, I think, in Champions League spaces, and they deserve it.
I don't think this game is league defining. I think I said it on Thursday as well. Arsenal play Man City in April. That is going to be one of the games, and there's going to be chops and changes throughout the season. Some games you think we're going to win here, we're going to win there. It doesn't happen like that. And you've got to give credit to Chelsea for that, because they put up a fight. They made it difficult, at times today. And yeah, Man City will be kicking themselves, but you have to give Chelsea credit, especially what they've been going through with having no manager.
Yeah. And they're building momentum and building a lot more confidence within the group, and they've added to that. Eze is one of them. But they have a lot more belief as a team now, as a squad. Like, they've suffered injuries in positions that we've all questioned and thought that it would derail them. It hasn't. So that just breeds confidence. And when you're part of a group and you all believe in each other, then it only can lead to positive things, and they're doing that, and they're not getting carried away, because they've been in this situation before where the outcome hasn't been winning the league, and you learn from them.
I think also they've got a real key player coming back in Havertz.
Havertz.
I think Havertz will have a big say in that running. He'll be fit, he'll be 100% fit, and he'll be used. Yeah, they'll need to recycle, because obviously the Champions League will have if they get knocked out of the Champions League, I'd have them winning the Premier League. I really would. But they'll want to go all the way.
You don't see that could potentially derail them, I think, because when everything's going so well, the first thing that doesn't go well, it could have a knock-on effect in other competitions.
Yeah, they'll want to go all the way, and momentum is a big thing, and confidence. But I think it will take a lot out of them if they go all the way to the final, if you like, and lose. They'd have probably looked back and gone, if we'd have got knocked out in the quarter-final, we wouldn't have, the rails wouldn't have come off. So it's a chicken and the egg. As a footballer and a club, you want to do well in every game. But I think if they were to get knocked out, I don't think that would hurt. I think it would give them that real emphasis, that energy to say, right, we haven't got a midweek game here, a big Champions League game. We can now really dissect how we're going to play at the weekend. And that I think would get them over the line. I really do.
We have to move on, but maybe just...
I think Arsenal away, and your minutes from winning the game is the right thing, what they did. And I think there's certain things, it's horses for courses football. It's making the right decision as a player on the ball, making that right decision, or as a manager, you're making the right decisions at the right time. And Pep's Pep, and I admire him for that. He wants to go and attack and play and let his players go and play. But if he just keeps the back four intact, they don't lose that game, which is massive in the context of winning another Premier League. With chasing Arsenal, the pressure now is off Arsenal.
Well, you're saying keep the back four intact. They did lose a key member of that back four through injury. Did that, I suppose with hindsight, we'll say they then conceded. How much did that affect them?
Well, two. They lost both set of halves. Yeah. To change that, and it's probably the most difficult position to come on and get the rhythm of the game. I think forward players are tend to used to coming on and playing 20 minutes. So as a centre-back, you're sitting down and you're not warming up and you're just waiting for, and God forbid, there's an injury, so it's difficult.
Even more so, protect them.
Yeah.
Give them protection. They've come on and, as you say, they're cold and it's a difficult position. Two of you to come on and play, and Chelsea were coming at them as well. So even more so for me, protect them. Give them some solidness about them.
I know there is still a lot of football to be played, and it can change week for week. Arsenal have Liverpool, for example. They are 6 points clear now. Manchester City playing Brighton in midweek. How damaging do you think this is?
I'd say damaging, frustrating, disappointing, but damaging. I don't think they can afford to drop points before Arsenal again. I think then it becomes like too big of a gap, because you're asking a team that's playing so well balanced as in Arsenal, to drop more points than they have done all season in a shorter space of games. So I think it's vitally important that they do not drop points before Arsenal.
There's still a lot of points to be played for, halfway through the season. I always say the Premier League, I've always said it's like a Grand National, and at the moment Man City have hit a couple of fences. But they're still going. The jockey hasn't fallen off yet. And there's such a long way to go, and they'll want to be there or thereabouts, putting some pressure on Arsenal. They've eased the pressure off Arsenal. But if they have a little bit of a Arsenal, then City have got to take advantage then, before they play them. It's a must that they've got to beat them at home whenever they play. And I can't think when they are playing them actually in the league. But at the end of the day, they want to be breathing down their neck. Now, Arsenal are in the pole position. It's Arsenal's at the moment, still a long way to go. It's theirs to lose. So the pressure's on Arsenal.
They play each other in April at the Etihad Stadium. That's that game that everyone is looking forward to. Plenty still to come before then. As you mentioned, the jockey is still on. The greatest soap opera in the world will carry on until that showdown in April. Who knows what the table will look
that we probably don't recognise his chances. Well, Glenn might recognise his chances. He'll be frustrated with them. And he's always about the performance. Again, the result obviously is vitally important. But he's always looking at the performance and what the momentum and the consistencies of players, and he tends to analyse it pretty accurate most weeks. So there'll be a level of frustration due to the lateness of Chelsea goal.
What did you make of that interview and kind of his level of frustration, his mood?
Yeah, there was a little bit of frustration there, and I think if he analyses and looks at the second half, it's not like he's actually portrayed it. I don't think they had the chances that he thinks they had. They got themselves in some good positions. If the right pass had been made, possibly they might have had another goal and killed the game off. But that isn't they didn't create them chances. They were in good positions, but they fouled. Whereas first half they looked like they were picking the right pass, and they ended up having good chances. But you know, I think Callum McFarland, his first game, I think at half time he did his job. He changed the shape a little bit in midfield. Enzo was allowed to go and play a little bit higher and consequently do his pressing higher up, but then get into the box from there. Palmer was certainly left, that we spoke about half-time, to go and roam a little bit more, get on the ball a bit more. And Gusto came over to the right. So there was a lot of changes in the shape. And then his subs that come on worked for him. Delap played exceedingly well when he come on, used the ball well, was a threat. And, yeah, I thought they deserved the point in the end, Chelsea.
I really enjoyed my family, the company that we had, the moments that we shared together, and yeah, it's so special. This country brings an incredible opportunity to spend some time with them away from your country while you are doing what you love the most, which is play games and compete. But at the same time, you have those windows to enjoy in a different way the Christmas period.
Can you just describe what the mood and the belief is like around this place, especially after predominantly the victory against Villa, but also City dropping points last night, and whether it feels different to the emotions you felt last season?
I don't know. I cannot go back to those emotions in the last 3 years. I can talk about the emotion right now, and it's I would describe as a real hunger and focus in what we have to do to achieve what we want. That's it, and I see it every single day. And the focus is there, is what is ahead of us, what we can do today, what we can do as a team to improve and get better, and how can we get the best out of everybody around the club.
Do you notice the noise? Do you pay attention to the noise? And how do you, as the manager, try and block that noise away from your players?
I think noise is very good. That means that you are in the place that you want to be, you know, winning in the contention to winning big trophies, and it's going to generate debate and it's going to generate emotion. I think that's really positive.
But there's good and bad noise, isn't there?
I don't know, but you can learn from all of that, and I think the demands that we have right now demand that as well. I think it's something very natural.
There's been quite a bit of noise about Victor Gyökeres as well from the outside, and I know it's very different to what it is in the inside, but do you feel, when you hear some of the criticism directed towards Victor Gyökeres, do you feel it's fair?
I don't know, but it's going to continue to have a lot of noise around him for the next 5 years. I'm sure about that. Since day one, you signed a number 9 for Arsenal, with the background that he has and the expectation that we have as a team. That's not going away. That's part of his role, and that's part of life of being Arsenal number 9, and that's it.
What's he like within himself mentally? Is he how strong is he?
Very strong.
And how are you with him?
Well, just try to give him all the support, all the tools, all the solutions, and give him confidence. That's what I think. When I see him train every day, how he's in the meetings, how much he wants to do well, the way he's working every single match, it will click, it will come in. And one thing is missing at the moment is that he scored more goals, but he's doing a lot of things right.
Just finally, Mikel, it's January the 2nd, so I do have to ask you, well, what's your New Year's resolution?
Well, the first thing is health for everybody, because we live in a world at the moment that unfortunately a lot of issues are occurring, too many, so that's number one. And the second one, to be able to make your own decisions freely.
What do you mean by that? From yourself?
For everybody. I see that people are constantly doubting, and there is a lot of idealism. Do what you feel. And if you feel this is the best thing for you, fight for it and go for it.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.